All this because of a dispute over a piece of forest the Indians claim is theirs, a forest town council wants to bulldoze to expand the local golf course. Just a quick look now at the lay of the land. There's the present golf course on the right. The forest that would be chopped down for more golf is on the upper left. The Indians have blocked off both ends of the road leading to that forest. Tonight, it's a standoff, the situation very tense. Our coverage of the day's tragic events begins with Neil MacDonald.
The Quebec Police Force SWAT team moved in at dawn, trying to enforce the court order despite the provincial government's stated sympathy for the Indians of Oka. And if ever a police operation was to go tragically wrong, it was this one. Police used gas, then bullets, but they weren't prepared for what met them. Dozens of heavily armed Mohawk men determined to hold what they say is their sacred ground. There were women and children behind the barricades when the attack started, and that only added to the Mohawk rage. After 15 minutes of mayhem, during which their own tear gas apparently blew back at them, the police retreated as abruptly as they'd attacked, leaving behind their cruisers. They also left a heavy front-end loader, which the Mohawks immediately put to their own use. The police cruisers, crushed and useless, became barricades themselves, and one other was given a new paint job before being pressed into Mohawk service. 31-year-old SWAT team member, Marcel Lemay, was shot in the mouth and died later in the day. Indian leaders behind these barricades say Lemay was shot accidentally by one of his own fellow officers. They say they heard that on police radios confiscated from these wrecked cruisers. In any event, they say the police started the gun battle in the first place. The Mohawks say they stuck to their policy of not shooting until fired upon. After the police retreated, the warriors celebrated, but it didn't last long. They went back to the barricades later in the afternoon, standing guard over the golf club whose expansion plan started all this in the first place. Traditionalist Mohawks met all day inside the encampment, and at the end of the day they remained resolute.
We treat these trees and the land like our mother. These people are raping our mother. What would you do if they raped your mother?
This evening, Mohawk leaders said they received a call from Quebec's Indian Affairs Minister, John Chacha. They say Chacha asked to meet them and promised that if negotiations begin, the Quebec Police Force will remain at bay in the town of Oka. He also promised helicopter surveillance will cease. The Mohawk leaders say they have no choice but to believe him. Neil MacDonald, CBC News, Oka. Instead of moving on the Oka barricades by road, the Army chose the terrain it likes best, the forest, moving in from behind, coming in the back way. When they rolled, it was swift. The warriors met them on a dirt road deep inside the Indian territory.
We're gonna start swinging ourselves. Tell these fuckers where to go. Come on! Come on! Fuck! Come on!
The infantry major in charge made it clear he was heading for the barricades at any cost and that bullets would be met with bullets. As soon as I'm able to move forward, I move forward. Are you moving right through to the barricades? There's the barricades down there? Yes, sir. I've taken 3 barricades now. The warriors were nearing hysteria at the sight of soldiers near their tribal cemetery.
Somebody give me fucking permission to slug that fucking guy. Get back! Get back! Hey!
Then something remarkable. Mohawk women assumed command and cleared their men.
Get back, stay back, I'll fucking kick your ass.
Come on! Shoot! Shoot, you fucker!
Get him out of here!
Shoot! Hey! Come on! Come on! Hey! Come on, then!
The warriors calmed down, although not much, and they took to taunting the soldiers face to face.
I must be number 1 on your list, or you're number 1 on my list, too.
A little bit nervous, perhaps? You think? You nervous? Should be. Motherfucker.
But the Mohawk threats and rifles had little effect on the soldiers. They continued to advance relentlessly throughout the day, and by evening they were here in the very center of the Ganasatagi encampment. They were at the edge of the sacred Mohawk cemetery and near the very spot where the Quebec police officer was killed weeks ago. They were also within about a 1-minute march from the main Indian barricade.
Restez calme, bougez pas, pointez pas d'armes.
And the soldiers followed the methods they'd followed all along, telling the Mohawks not to shoot first or they would shoot back. By nightfall, it was an almost ghostly scene. Soldiers behind barbed wire and searchlights digging in for the night, with the promise that they won't move at least until morning. Neil McDonald, CBC News, Oka.